When you turn your home into a clean air sanctuary or your bedroom into a sleep sanctuary, and you're breathing 99% filtered air all night long, all those toxin and stress loads come down.
This is the Pursuit of Wellness podcast, and I'm your host, Mari Llewellyn. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Pursuit of Wellness podcast. Today, we are talking all things air. This was a really interesting conversation. I am someone who is very conscious of ingredients, things I'm putting in my body. But one thing I don't really think about is air quality. And I think that goes for a lot of us. Today on the show, we have Mike Feldstein. He is the founder of Jaspr, an air quality expert. With a background in wildfire restoration, air quality consulting, and home remediation during some of the biggest natural disasters, Mike started Jaspr to innovate in air science and technology. His goal is to protect air quality and improve human health by using the latest air quality science. We had such a fascinating conversation. We discuss everything from mold exposure and detox protocols to the importance of air purifiers in maintaining a healthy space. We dive into how air pollution can affect everything from skin health to chronic conditions to migraines and brain fog. We talk about creating a toxin-free environment for vulnerable populations like babies and pets. He also gives tips on improving air quality in our homes. We also explore the concept of zoochosis and how living in confined spaces can affect animals and humans alike. I was really blown away by this episode. I didn't expect to learn a ton, but it was so eye-opening. Mike is amazing, and so is his brand, Jaspr. So without further ado, let's hop right in and learn about air quality. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are an air quality expert. We've already been geeking out over some air quality questions with you. You're also the founder of Jaspr, which is the air purifier Greg and I have in our bedroom. We love it. It's sleek. It's beautiful. It's doing its thing. I'm excited to learn more from you today about air, what Jaspr's mission is, but I'd love to start from the beginning. I know what you did before, but let's tell the audience like how you got interested in air quality.
So yeah, my background for about a decade was in wildfire smoke, floods, and mold cleanup. So not like your little kitchen fire or your bathroom leak, more like we would fly to California or Hurricane Harvey in Houston or Alberta or British Columbia. We would travel to wherever the biggest disasters were in the country and then go there to clean, restore, and rebuild homes. So it was very evident because we would use these things called air scrubbers. So air scrubbers, imagine an air purifier that looks like a photocopier or a subwoofer, like massive industrial machines that would be super effective, like 20 times the effectiveness of an air purifier that you'd buy at like Best Buy or Home Depot or Walmart. But the downside was it was very ugly and very loud. So super effective for an industrial construction site, but not practical at all for like a family. You could, the benefit that you'd get from clean air would be offset by the noise pollution and this like truck sitting in your living room basically. So yeah, I went from someone who was cleaning up really toxic situations, testing air, and also I was seeing how sick people were getting after wildfire smoke. They don't tell you that part on the news. Like there's a hurricane right now in Florida.
Yeah.
And what they don't tell you is like any pulmonologist or pediatrician, they're probably like 20x their normal busyness, because when there's all the bacteria in the air, smoke, mold, chemicals, when like all that, doctors are slammed, and somehow that doesn't make it into the conversation. But I got to see, it's not because of what the 4 ways things get inside us is eating it, drinking it, absorbing through our skin, or breathing it. And I kept seeing all these situations where people weren't eating it, drinking it, or putting it on their skin. So I was seeing firsthand how impacted people's health was by air. And sure, we would do these like big toxic cleanups. Well, the big event was in Fort McMurray. We cleaned up this family's home, and then a week later, their baby was in the hospital. So we went back to the house, we tested the air quality, and it was totally toxic again. And we realized like, oh shit, the outdoor air after a wildfire can be bad for 3 months because it's in the soil, it's in the environment. So I called the insurance company. I was like, hey guys, what should we do? Tanya and her family, their baby's sick. I think they should leave town for a month. We should re-clean. And they're basically like, no, like so sad, too bad. We already cleaned the house. A check is on the way to you guys. Like we don't clean twice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are we supposed to do? So this is where we left our giant air scrubbers there for another couple months. And this kept happening and we were running out of equipment. And that's when I went to Best Buy and Home Depot and I bought like 6 different little air purifiers. I'm like, let's just let them keep the little ones
Yeah.
instead of leaving our big ones there. And within an hour, the air was bad again. And that was my light bulb moment. Like, oh, these little air purifiers that you buy at Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, etc., they don't do very much. And that
Mm.
was kind of my aha moment. So that's when I moved from reactive to proactive, and I spent the next 4 years trying to develop a product that was commercial grade, made from steel, but also beautiful. So that was the journey by being in the restoration side for a few years and then realizing like we clean a home and then it's toxic again. Like, are we really solving any problems here? And I figured I'd be more useful on the solution side.
What does it look like when someone is sick from toxic air? Like, what were the symptoms?
So definitely everybody's stuff was exasperated.
Mm.
So if someone had asthma, they were having asthma attacks for sure.
Yeah.
If they already had like respiratory stuff, it was going to be way worse. If they had autoimmune stuff, it would be very flared up. Kind of like what like to explain is most of the things that are bad about eating bad food or drinking bad water
Mm.
are very similar to breathing bad air. It's just this another toxin source that you introduce to your body that kind of triggers everything. So yeah, respiratory stuff was the most heightened. And then anyone elderly that was like on CPAP machines was really struggling.
Mm.
Babies were really struggling. So like the most vulnerable populations were put over the edge.
Yeah.
And then people who were generally healthy were just like unwell.
Mm.
So if it's a wildfire smoke, like your lungs can burn a little bit, skin stuff, itchy eyes, rashes, autoimmune flare up. So it's really like across the board.
With mold, I have heard, and I've experienced my own mold issues, but doesn't mold stay in your system for a really long time?
It's kind of like heavy metals and stuff. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a detox protocol, then it can stay in there and be a problem. And mold's not usually one of those things that is acute. It's more of like a chronic long-term thing.
Yeah.
So if you sleep in a moldy hotel room one night, it's definitely going to mess you up for the night. You know, you'll have a bad sleep, you might get headaches, brain fog, a little bit of rash, but you'll be okay. A
Mm.
couple days later it'll clear out. But when you're living in a moldy environment, then it's just really gets inside you. I've almost never seen someone who's done a mycotoxin or a mold test from like a urine or blood analysis that didn't have some amount of mold.
Mm.
It's just like it's omnipresent, but yeah, it definitely stays in you for quite some time.
Did you have high levels of mold from your work being exposed to toxic environments?
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time because I mean, when I'd go to these like disaster zones, we were working like 18 hours a day and living a pretty unhealthy lifestyle for a few months at a time.
Yeah.
And yeah, mold, but also for us, heavy metals were really bad too, because it wasn't just the 5,000 homes that burnt down, or it wasn't just the million acres of trees that burnt, or the 5,000 homes, but everything in every house was gone. So when you would drive down a street after a wildfire zone, all you see is chimney stacks, piles of
Mm.
ash and chimney stacks. So where's the WD-40? Where's the paint cans? Where's all the cleaning chemicals? Like literally the cars, the fuel, everything in everyone's homes, the factories kind of got into the smoke and makes it like a toxic plume of smoke.
Yeah.
I got like I still have a little bit of it. It gets triggered now by like gluten. I have a bit of psoriasis, and
Mm.
that got triggered after this wildfire in 2016 and like living in that environment.
Did you go on a detox protocol after that?
I have, and I probably am due for another one now. I kind of like I try to just set my life up to be a detox protocol.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time in my house in Austin that I haven't had a sauna, but we're gonna fix that now. I find and when I was in Fort McMurray, which is an oil town 5 hours north of Edmonton, where the biggest fire in Canadian history was,
Mm.
their like local YMCA looks like the most beautiful gym in the world. The oil companies built it,
Mm.
and they have about probably a 60 or 70 person sauna
No.
at the local like
That's huge.
YMCA. And every day, it's full. There's like 40 people in it.
Wow.
And everybody I met in there was engineers. All the chemical engineers, all the like senior oil people realized I think they built the sauna for themselves. You didn't see any of the truck drivers or the mine workers there, but the folks who knew what was in the environment were sauning every single day, and they all
Wow.
had like water filtration systems and stuff because it was part of their daily detox. It wasn't
Wow.
just like a one-off detox. It was, and the wildfire it was a problem, but living up in like oil country, the air quality was horrible. The amount of babies that I saw on nebulizers in that town was just out of control.
Oh my God.
So yeah, for them, they realize like detox is more about a way of life than something you do to get something out.
Yeah. When I went through, so I had horrible cystic acne for like 10 years of my life, and did extensive lab testing and found heavy metals, ochratoxin A, a bunch of things. Like my white blood count was up, and I would do castor oil packs, sauna, supplements, cold plunge. Like I was on a full detox program, and I managed to get those numbers way down through the sauna. So I think that's such a good
You're able
method.
to get your white blood cell count too down?
Yes, everything.
Wow, that's awesome.
The one thing I had left was H pylori. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Have you ever had that?
Not as far as I know.
I had
Would I for sure have known it?
I mean, maybe get a test for it. The problem was my husband and I were like passing it back and forth, because it's one of those things that if one of you has it, both of you need to go on a protocol for it. I think we got it like traveling in South America or something, but that ultimately was the thing that was causing the acne.
What was the, how did you discover that you had it, and what stopped? How did you learn you had it? How do you solve it? Like what symptoms were there, and how did you deal with it?
More lab testing, blood work, urine. I did something else too. I forget what it was, but my husband did the same tests. And then ultimately we did intense antibiotics, which I was avoiding for a very long time because I'm really not a big medicine person. I like supplements, but I think that was kind of to my detriment ultimately. So antibiotics, gut rebuild protocol, and he did the same thing. And now we're both feeling a lot better. So
awesome.
So what are some major things, like for people sitting at home who have maybe never had an air purifier, have never noticed or thought about air quality? Why do they need an air purifier? Like, what are some of the things that they could be noticing that they're missing?
So an air purifier is one of the tools, but there's actually a lot of stuff that people can do like for free at home immediately. And I think the main thing is just starting from air awareness.
Yeah.
So like broadly, there's outdoor air pollution and there's indoor air pollution. So outdoor air pollution is your mold, your pollen, your allergens, the rubber from the tires, the chemicals, the factories, just like general pollution. Then indoor air pollution is all the off-gassing from the furniture, the carpets, the flooring, the paints. Pretty much anything manufactured has an off-gassing period. Pets, cooking, cleaning products. The list really, really goes on. And if you think about homes, since the 70s in particular, we started building our homes, optimizing them for energy efficiency.
Yeah.
So the problem is we're trying to keep the cool in the summer and the warm air in the winter. But the problem is we keep everything in. So we have all the outdoor air comes in, the pollen, the allergens, the mold, the pollution. Then we all have the indoor pollutants. And our homes are basically like Tupperware bags. Like they're like little plastic bags or Tupperware boxes. So everything gets trapped inside. Here in Austin, when we do allergy testing in the spring, if we test someone's carpet or even like a couch material, there's typically more pollen inside than outside, even on a bad allergy day. So you see like a bad allergy day, they're like, stay inside, stay inside. You're like, you have just as much, if you weren't filtering your air and cleaning your surfaces well, you have just as much allergens, if not more, indoors than outside. Yeah. And outside, we have the sun, UV light, we have the wind, the rain, and the trees. Those four things make up nature's air purifier, which is the real air purifier, which is also why our logo is a tree. Because we should not need air purifiers. If we built our homes better and we polluted less and we didn't cut down so many trees, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
There are so many tips and tricks when it comes to getting better sleep. You guys may remember I had Todd Anderson, the founder of Dream Recovery, on the show. He is such an expert. I highly recommend you guys go back and listen to his episodes. He is a big fan of tape, mouth tape, and that's where Dream Recovery comes in. They have science-backed solutions to help you feel your best each morning. I think we all have heard by now mouth taping can be so beneficial for your sleep, to help you nose breathe. It also just helps with the physical aesthetic of your face. I've seen so many amazing before and afters. I know a lot of women are worried about the adhesive on their skin, and that's why Dream Recovery made the new Dream Tape Plus, which combines the benefits of mouth tape with a skincare routine with clinically backed anti-aging ingredients that are infused into the tape, such as collagen, biotin, vitamin D, and vitamin B. Sleep is the foundation of health, and there is nothing better than waking up feeling refreshed and ready to attack the day. Use code PAL for 20% off your order at dreamrecovery.io. Here is something I'm really looking forward to as the weather turns cooler: football games, pumpkin spice lattes, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, and not just that, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. That includes beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. They partner directly with top factories and cut out the cost of the middleman, which passes savings on to us. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, and of course, premium fabrics and finishes for the luxury feel. I love the Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweater in the color oatmeal. It goes with everything. You can throw it over your shoulders, wear it with a skirt, with jeans. It really is so versatile. Get cozy in Quince's high quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/pow for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/pow to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/pow. So should we be keeping our windows and doors open as much as possible?
Yeah, and I think the same way people check the temperature, like people think about weather has the temperature, sun or cloud, and will it rain? And I always look at air quality. And you could Google wherever you like now, Tesla, Google, Apple, everyone's starting to report on air quality.
Is that accurate though?
It's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Quite good.
I don't know why I never believe it.
You can. You can like the PM 2.5, which is the particulate. PM 2.5 is particulate matter. That's 2.5 microns in size, which is the particles that are small enough to enter your lungs and bloodstream, but too big for you to just exhaust,
Yeah.
like exhale. So those are the most harmful particles. So that's the one that you want to look at most. But yeah, like if it's a cloudy, cool day, but the air quality is super good, then it kind of makes me happier because I'm like, it's cloudy and it's cool and it's rainy, but the air is super fresh. I'm waterproof. Let's go outside.
Yeah.
But if it's like sunny, but the air is horrible, maybe we'll go for a walk, but maybe not run today.
Okay.
So just kind of increasing that little bit of air awareness.
Yeah.
And yeah, indoor air particularly is very poor. So the things that people need to think about is there's fresh air, which you can only get by ventilation. So to answer your question about windows and doors and stuff, if it's obviously in Austin in summertime, we're not opening our windows. It's too hot. So if it's not too hot, not too cold, and the outdoor air is relatively clean, then yes, open your windows, like get fresh air, and especially when you're cooking. And on that note, people should test their range hoods. More than half of people's range hoods don't actually work. So if you just take a tissue, do a tissue test, turn your range hood on, hold it up to the vent, and make sure it's actually pulling the tissue up. And then make sure it's venting outside, because often that thing is venting into the crawl space. It's venting behind your wall. It's like a little microwave one that's like venting in the cabinet above or in your attic. It's not actually venting outside. It's just putting it in another room. And if you can, when you're cooking, especially if you're boiling stuff, use the back burner because the range hood does collect much more from the back burner. The shower, when you're using your bathroom fan, run it for like 2 hours after your shower because all that humidity, and make sure that vents outside too. Those often vent into attics because you shower. Think about how much water a towel can soak up. So when you're done showering, there's like a gallon plus of water just like on your towel, in the shower floor. And then if it's not exhausting outside, that just goes inside and that contributes to your mold growth.
Why is cooking creating toxins in the air?
So a few reasons. Definitely like a nonstick pan is worse. Not clean food is worse. But even if you're using your grass-fed, grass-finished steak with organic oils and everything, and you no seed oils, and you're doing all the things right, high heat and protein creates a lot of byproducts. So there's chemical compounds that are created like PAH, which is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and a bunch more stuff. Same stuff that we would be testing for after wildfire smoke. So there's a lot of like chemical compounds that aren't the food and aren't the oil that get created from the proteins and the heat. And then that gets embedded in your carpets and your furniture. Anything in your home that can get wet and absorb water also absorb air. And then the other thing to consider is just because you can eat something, it doesn't mean you can breathe it. Because when you eat something, you get your digestive system to break it down, pull out the nutrients, filter out the rest. When you breathe it, it's really harsh. Our respiratory system is not as robust as our digestive system. So like just because you can put something in your mouth doesn't mean you can put it in your nose.
Yeah.
which is why when someone's cooking, if they can, yeah, doors and windows open for sure. Or, if you don't have that, that's when purifying your air becomes much more mandatory. But there's still no substitute for fresh air and ventilation.
So I should put a Jaspr in the kitchen because we make a ton of red meat.
Living room, it will be the craziest. So the one in your bedroom, ideally, if do you like silent or white noise when you sleep?
White noise.
So what setting are you using it on now? You keep it on smart mode?
Yes.
So for your bedroom, you should definitely use fan speed 2 or 3 on dark mode.
Okay.
I'm sure you're already turning off the light. But fan speed 2 is way better than smart mode. First of all, it acts as a natural white noise machine.
Yeah.
So instead of having like a speaker or a fan, you might as well have essentially wind that's being purified has your white noise.
Yeah.
So fans turn it up at night. And then the one in your living room near the kitchen, put that on smart mode. As soon as you start cooking anything, anytime, it's going to automatically go from green to red, spool up and come back down.
Wow.
Candles, incense, cooking. So literally, your neighbor could be cooking and it might go off. Our barbecue is 100 feet away from our back door. And if we barbecue, just in that moment that we open and close the door to come inside, like put the plates in or something, the Jaspr goes crazy.
You mentioned pets. Why are pets creating toxins in the air?
Pets have allergens. So just right off the bat, the pet dander, their fur is problematic. And a lot of people actually who think they're allergic to cats end up being allergic to cat litter, not cats. So I thought I was allergic to cats. I wasn't. I was allergic to cat litter.
Why?
Well, go look at the chemical sheet of like a dust-based clumping litter. It's literally like the worst chemicals ever.
Wait, I didn't even think about that.
And then kitty goes, there's like a plume of kitty litter smoke, and then you smell it throughout your whole house. So
I don't have cats, but I'm also not allergic to anything, so I don't think about this kind of thing.
This is good. This is good. So yeah, cat litter messes up a lot of people, myself included.
Okay.
Then purifying the air helped. You can also switch to like a grass pellet-based litter.
I was going to say, are there like organic ones?
There are. Then the downside is it tracks all over your house. But now they make these little mats that are like, they almost look like foam. They're textured.
Yeah.
So by the time the cat walks away from the litter box, most of it's fallen off.
Okay.
And then dogs, on the other hand, they go outside.
Right.
So take this picture for a sec. Would you ever take a blanket, go outside with your blanket, rub it on the grass, soak up some nice glyphosate, find some dogs, rub it on their butt a little, rub it on some trees, rub it on some roads, and then shake it out in your bed at night?
You know what I'm picturing right now? My little dog Arnold eating roadkill because that's like his favorite thing. He'll like run up to a dead squirrel and just, yeah. That's probably why I have H. pylori.
Yeah, that sounds like a likely cause.
No, you're so right about that. I didn't even think in that way. I mean, my question was more so, is the Jaspr also benefiting my dogs?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs get allergies too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dog is like this sponge that you put out into the world, soak up all the beautiful glyphosate, and then wring it out in your bed at night. And most people sleep with their dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm on our air quality quiz. It's like, do you have any pets? If it says yes, dog, cat, or both. And then if they say dog or cat, we're like, do you sleep with your pet? Like, we know you do. And then if they say yes, we'll like email them about that, because yeah, that's like a huge source of introducing allergens into your bedroom.
Yeah.
So keeping your dog groomed is going to be super helpful. But I always tell people you can either like keep the dog out of the room, and if the dog is in the room, that's like a mandatory situation to filter the air.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're eating the stuff. Same with mold. We can go back to that after. Like, you're not eating the mold, you're not drinking it, you're not rubbing it on your skin. The dog, you might be kind of rubbing it and maybe making out with your dog after it eats roadkill. So maybe that is the culprit here.
You're like, you need to figure that out. But like, my question is with the grooming, I feel like they use all these crazy chemicals on the dog. Like, the dog comes back smelling like a coconut.
Eek.
You know what I'm saying?
I never had a dog. That doesn't surprise me at all.
I don't like the fragrances of it.
I'm sure we're in Austin. There's definitely like a holistic wellness
I'm sure.
dog groomer.
I'm sure.
At least brush it, maybe HEPA vacuum a little.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
More of like I don't think you need a chemical potion up the dog, but I feel like just a mechanical clean would be beneficial.
Yeah, I should probably implement
at least
that.
the groom.
Yeah. I'm not a big germaphobe. And I think sometimes that's to my detriment. I kind of like, oh, whatever, there's dirt here, dirt there. But like the air purifying, I think makes such a big difference, especially if you're someone who struggles with acne or you have other symptoms. Could bad air quality symptoms show up differently in different people?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Same way mold shows up differently in different people.
Yeah.
When I did mold consulting and testing and restoration for a decade, I could go to a house, two people, let's say a family of 5. 2 of them could be like deathly ill, chronic migraines, fatigue, like beside themselves, quality of life destroyed, brain fog. 1 or 2 of them might have like a rash, and one of them might be like, I'm fine. It's kind of an allergen. Same way, like you said, different things impact people differently.
Yeah.
So it impacts people so differently. Some people it's like debilitating. Also, it depends on how well you naturally detox.
Yeah.
Certain people have certain genes or don't have certain genes that change their ability to like methylate and detox properly. And then, maybe someone's drinking more water than the other. And then, but yeah, it definitely varies depending on the person dramatically. And if they've had a big exposure event, and then, it kind of is an everywhere problem. If you live coastal, there's a lot of humidity.
Yeah.
Here, there's a lot of mold in Austin. There's still humidity and high heat. In Arizona, there's also a ton of mold. People think there's not. I see some of the worst mold toxicity in Arizona of anywhere.
Why?
Because the air is so dry. They don't have a natural, they're not used to it. So then if you get a leak in your house, it ravages you. But also, all that desert sand used to be underwater. So if you sampled the desert sand, there's ancient molds that have been there for who knows, thousands or millions of years. So often when people have big mold toxic exposure events in Arizona, it's like after a windstorm or haboob, they have this big exposure. And when they get their mycotoxin in their blood and on all their testing done, the same species of dust that we find in the same species of mold in their dust is the same that's in their blood almost unanimously.
That's insane.
So it's kind of like an everywhere problem.
Wow. Yeah. And do you think that the awareness around mold has gone up? Because I feel
massive.
More people are getting their homes tested. You are partnered with a home testing company in Austin, correct? Or you're friendly with him?
I'm friendly with lots of mold testing folk.
But there's a specific person, right?
Ryan Blazer is the guy I've worked with most, called Test My Home.
Yep.
He's actually based in Boise, but he does a lot of work here in Austin.
Got it. Yeah, we got a full mold test done in our house when we moved in.
He's the one who actually connected me to Lauren and Michael.
No way. Yeah, he seems great. And I think mold testing is becoming more popular. Do you feel the same with air quality awareness, or you think that's still a little
It's lagging.
behind?
So mold is kind of like it's sort of like the new Lyme.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that if you're sick and you can't figure it out why, it's like a common culprit. But because it's everywhere, it's way more prevalent. You're not like, it wasn't like through a bug bite or something, or a mosquito or a tick or something.
Yep.
If you look at the search volume of anything mold related, it looks like a hockey stick. It's like the NVIDIA stock. It is going crazy. So the mold awareness is going up. Mold is much scarier than air.
Yeah.
Even though anyone who's having a mold problem, it's an air problem. It's not usually the mold on your strawberries. You can see that stuff.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're breathing some amount of mold, and that's okay. There's a certain amount of reasonable mold in the environment. It's inside, it's outside, it's kind of omnipresent. So this like black and white approach to mold is a little bit intense. It's like if you drink tap water, it has chlorine. So do you rip out your pipes or do you filter your water?
Yep.
So mold is something that outside, it's not nearly that problematic because with the sun, the wind, the rain, and the trees, it's when mold is indoors that it's a big problem. Mold's not any happier inside than we are or our pets are. It's pissed off and it wants to get back outside, and it will wreak havoc on us to do so. So yeah, mold awareness is going up a lot, which I think is a blessing and a curse. It's not a curse in the sense that like people were already impacted from it for a long period of time. It's not like mold. It's not like it's more humid or hotter and that's creating more mold growth. It's much more mold awareness. And I mean, humans spend 95% of our time indoors in this part of the world. So it's a blessing and a curse. It's a curse because you got to get outside more. That's too much time inside. It's the blessing though, because you can turn your home into your clean air sanctuary. You can have clean water. You can make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. It's the one place where you can like dial it in and have it like this wellness sanctuary for not very much money. So I think investing in that is wise. Air, I find air quality was lagging water quality awareness by about 20 years. And I think since COVID, it's shrunken to about 10 years. Like the gap is closing.
Yeah.
And this is the way I look at air. Like you could go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, and only 3 minutes without air. You eat, let's say 2 pounds of food in a day, you drink like 2 liters of water, and you breathe like 17,000 liters of air. People don't really realize that it's the thing we consume most of by far.
Yeah.
Just like water, we drink it and we pee it out. Air, we breathe it in and we exhale it. It's very similar. So there was a study recently in the UK that showed the average human breathes a credit card worth of microplastics each week. So sometimes to me, it's staggering that people are like really looking at their food and really looking at their water, and you should be, but the amount of stuff that you're getting from the environment and the amount of toxins you're getting from your home and from the air is far more than water and food, exponentially more. So it's not about neglecting those other things. And air is also, it's the first thing we do when we're born. It's the last thing we do when we die. It's the only thing that keeps us alive all night long. I call it my sleep fuel. Like it's one of the only things that we do consciously and we can control consciously, and we do it subconsciously. Like literally you could be a sleeper in a coma and your body will still breathe, because if you don't, it's game over. And if you go into someone's house that smells a little funny, usually within half an hour, it doesn't smell funny anymore. I was in an Airbnb in Scottsdale this week. I came home after being at a conference hall. I'm like, it smells like sewage in here. It smelled like a sewer backup.
In your house?
In the Airbnb we're at.
Oh.
No one noticed.
Huh.
I'm like, guys, come outside for 2 minutes. Let's take a few deep breaths. And then they came in, they're like, no one noticed. There was like a backup. But because it happened in the home that they were in, no one even noticed what was going on. Once they came in and went back inside, it was intolerable.
Yeah.
But because you're in it, you get really used to it. I think it's kind of like what water is to fish, air is to people. So think about all the fish that are swimming around in like radioactive toxic water. They don't necessarily leave the toxic part of the ocean and swim to the clean part because they're in it. It's in them.
Yeah.
They're not even aware of their environment.
Yeah.
Just like right now, we're not really aware of the air that we're breathing. We're just in it, bathing in it. And it's gradual. It's not like you took a sip or you took a bite and there's this contrast. We're just in it. So we have a hard time realizing, and because humans are so good at adapting, we don't really notice what we're breathing.
I get a lot of questions about what I'm doing for my acne scarring, and one of my first answers is red light therapy, and Bon Charge is my personal favorite red light mask. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. Their extensive range of products help you sleep better, perform better, have more energy, recover faster, balance hormones, and reduce inflammation. The list is endless, from blue light glasses and infrared saunas to red light therapy. They have so many different options. My personal favorite is the red light mask. It can help with wrinkles and fine lines, eczema, migraines, acne, scar tissue, wound healing, and razor burns, and ingrown facial hair. It's so easy to use. You just need 10 to 20 minutes a day. You can wear it while watching TV, reading a book, cooking a meal. It's so easy to habit stack while wearing it. Plus, it boosts collagen and elastin production, which is amazing for aging. They have removed the circadian and sleep disrupting blue and green light from their red light mask, while other brands, they might interrupt your sleep. They have zero EMF radiation, zero flicker, 1-year warranty, and a sleek, lightweight design. I have seen so much benefit from using my red light mask. I feel like my skin looks better immediately afterwards. I cannot stop using it. Go to boncharge.com and use coupon code PURSUIT to save 15% off. That is BONCHARGE.com and use coupon code PURSUIT to save 15% off. As you guys know, I am gearing up for Thanksgiving and really wanting to make sure that I have the cutest looking kitchen possible. And that's where Caraway comes in. I absolutely love my Caraway cookware. I love that it's non-toxic. It doesn't contain PFAs, PTFEs, PFOAs, or any other hard to pronounce chemicals, but they're also just gorgeous. I have the sage green set. It looks amazing on top of my stove. You guys know I cook all the time and I just keep my Caraway pans out. I also love my stainless steel set, and I feel confident that their non-toxic cookware is free of dangerous chemicals. Caraway's internet famous cookware set comes with a saute pan, fry pan, Dutch oven, and saucepan, plus lids for all of them, and a canvas lid holder and magnetic pan rack for storage. It's the ultimate kitchen setup and will save you $150 versus buying the items individually. I recommend you guys ditch the chemicals with Caraway. Their non-toxic kitchenware features chemical-free ceramic coating so food can be prepared with peace of mind. Visit carawayhome.com/pursuit to see all of our favorite products and the cookware we use to make cooking easy for even the most amateur home chefs. Plus, take an additional 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/pursuit or use code pursuit at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. How does having a Jaspr in the bedroom, purifying the air, help with sleep?
So glad you asked. I got something exciting to tell you. So we did a sleep study last month.
No.
We gave 150 people Jaspers for free in
Okay.
exchange for 1 month of sleep data.
Okay.
So 2,000 people applied, and we took a mixed bag: men, women, New York, California, Middle America. Like, we made sure we had a diverse group of ages, so it would be. But we only used people with Oura Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got one right there.
I could have partaken.
You could have. Well,
I would have loved
your
to.
Jasper. Well, you could do the next one.
Yeah. I sleep very well, by the way.
Oh, okay.
My HRV is close to 200.
Oh,
I know.
so we could get you even better.
Yep.
Well, you're up probably. It'll be neat to see if you track your sleep when you turn your Jasper up to fan speed 2.
Yeah.
Watch for the next week. I bet you'll see some bumps.
If I get above 200, that'll be crazy.
We're gonna do it. Maybe fan speed 3 then.
Yeah.
So out of the 150 people, 83% of people. So this was people who have been tracking sleep for a long time.
Okay.
First week, Jasper was off. I just wanted to make sure. Some people were intermittently tracking. We're like, let's dial it in. We got to track perfectly for the month. Week 1, no Jasper. Week 2 and 3, Jasper on in the bedroom, fan speed 2 or 3, dark mode, door shut or at least cracked, but as close as possible. Week 4, Jasper off again. So 83% of people in the 2 weeks Jasper was on had their best stretch of sleep ever. The average person slept 25 minutes more per night, 18% more deep sleep, and 5 minutes shortened sleep latency, which is a fancy way of saying they fell asleep 5 minutes faster.
Wow.
So we already had this hypothesis because 91% of people who take our quiz say they buy Jaspers to improve sleep. Allergies and mold and stuff too, but sleep is a really big part of it. Often people who like white noise, or maybe they don't, but they want to improve their sleep. So, and then the other study we just did was a mold study where we have the picture online, where a lab called LMS Technologies cultured the mold in a 500 square foot room, which is an average hotel space. And they tested the mold before, ran Jasper for 60 minutes. Just after 60 minutes, there was 87% less airborne mold. 3 hours later, it's more like 99% less airborne mold. So the nice thing about mold, it's fairly easy to filter out of the air. So yeah, for sleep, it's massive. That's why I literally travel with it. So if I have should have brought it. If I had my big fancy $5,000 particle counter here right now, or in the average bedroom has 800,000 to 1 million particles floating around.
Okay.
And this is from 0.3 to 10 microns. What that makes up is dust mites, mold, pollen, insect parts, a lot of insect parts, dead skin cells, hair scalp cells, general pollution, wooden fibers, off-gassing from the furniture, rubber from the tire, just everything. Because our homes are not separate from the outdoor air.
Yeah.
So all the outdoor pollutants come inside. So within about 1 to 2 hours, we get that 800,000 to 1 million number down to about 20,000. So we're cleaning the air in the room by more than 95%. So what happens is, if you just think about it just like water, you would never go up to a pond, fill a cup of water, be like, it's clear, and drink it. Because you have the awareness to know that water might make you sick. You wouldn't put raw chicken on a counter and then lick it. Well, maybe you would.
You're disgusting.
But most people wouldn't.
I actually have chickens. I have a chicken coop. And now I'm thinking how much of the feathers and grossness from my chicken coop is floating around my bedroom.
We can test.
Oh, gosh.
Because we can know what particle size that thing is and then go test for that particle
You're like,
size.
there's feathers floating around.
There might be.
Chicken
Little
poop.
teeny micro yeah, definitely chicken poop.
Ugh.
Dog poop, chicken poop.
Yeah.
Roadkill. So in a bedroom environment, that's why I call air sleep fuel by night and thinking fuel by day.
Yeah.
And the amount of, if you Google anything and then air quality, whether it's fertility rates, pregnancies, chess moves, SAT scores, absenteeism. Finland just did a study in these daycares where just by putting a not even good air purifier in the classrooms, 18% less absenteeism right away. So 20% basically less sick kids right off the hop.
Wow.
So yeah, when you go from breathing in, and the most amazing thing, so remember, I didn't tell you this part, but I created Jaspr originally just for wildfire smoke. I thought I was gonna just, when California would be on fire, we would go there and sell air purifiers and help with that situation, because that's the background I was in. When COVID hit, we were gonna launch June 2020. We ended up launching May 2020. And for the first year, we only sold to doctors and dentists. I never in a million years thought I would be talking about wellness.
Yeah.
This is so much better.
Yeah.
And I didn't think sleep and allergies and mold and asthma would be like the space we were moving into, because I over-engineered the product. I made it for toxic smoke and mold, which makes it, and it had to be beautiful.
It's even more effective.
It's even more effective. It had to be beautiful and had to be effective
Yep.
and made from steel. That was very important to me. So when all of a sudden, what I didn't think though, with allergies. So people who are struggling from seasonal allergies, often their allergies are gone. Like not just reduced, but like 99% just gone, because if someone has seasonal allergies or whatever it may be that's impacting them allergy wise, they're getting bombarded 24 hours a day. Human body, very adapt to handling stresses and trauma and bad air. And, you know, we can handle some stuff. But when it's 24 hours a day, it's like a chronic beatdown.
Yeah.
So when you look at the mold and the pollen and the cedar fever and all that, you're breathing it outside, and then you're breathing even more allergens inside. So when that mold and the pollen and everything is hitting you 24 hours a day, you don't have any time to rest and recover. So all of a sudden, when you turn your bedroom or your home into a clean air sanctuary, you really reduce that stress load. So now your body, which is like a healing machine, if you just let it do its thing, it can recover. But when it's like, it can't get parasympathetic and it can't do its own healing process when it's constantly under attack. So when you turn your home into a clean air sanctuary or your bedroom into a sleep sanctuary, and you're breathing 99% filtered air all night long, all those toxin and stress loads come down. And I love the quote, you can't detox your body if you don't detox your home, because it's like running on a treadmill in a gas chamber. You know, you're doing all the stuff to detox, but you're in a toxic environment. So you're retoxing as fast as you're detoxing. So it is massive for sleep.
You mentioned babies earlier struggling with air toxins. Should people listening with kids be putting Jaspers in the kids' room?
So yes, and so a fun little story I love to share. When my daughter, she's 4.5 now, but when she was under a year, she was like 4 or 5 months at the time. We were living in Kelowna, British Columbia, and I went into my daughter's nursery, and I was just noticing like it smells like poo, big time. We had one of those airtight diaper pails, but it stunk. My wife's name's Rachel. I was like, Rach, can we start maybe taking the poopy diapers like directly outside? And she was like, that's easy for you to say. You know, I'm changing 18 diapers a day. There's a lot. Like, it's fine. And, air quality nerd, of course, I test the air. A lot of bacteria in there. General rule of thumb, if it smells like poo, it is poo. And if it's poo, it's bacteria. Like, when you smell a thing, whether it's rubber tires or poop, it's because that thing's going inside you.
Yeah.
Whether you're drinking it or smelling it. In fact, your stomach is better at handling stuff than your airways. So if you're smelling a thing, it's not just like the fragrance, guys. You're smelling the actual thing. So it's like, Rachel was like, oh, I don't know about that. So I was like, fine, as a rite of passage, tonight, we put the diaper pail in our room. P.S., I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. And she was like, hell no, I'm not sleeping with that poopy diaper pail in our room. So once that clicked for her,
she
was like, oh shit, I can't keep that thing in Aria's room.
Yeah.
And on top of that, so adults are breathing 10 to 20,000 times a day. Babies breathe 60,000 times a day. Their respiratory rate way higher. Their immune system way lower. They're not like developed yet. So a little baby can't even talk yet. Fresh baby. You paint your nursery, get it all ready, get this fancy crib, nice rocking chair, load it up with EMFs and VOCs, and then pop baby in there. So yes, the Jaspr is awesome, and I highly recommend it, and it will look good too. But that's not a substitute for not putting poopy diapers in there.
Yeah.
And it's also a tip that I always recommend for people. I like new stuff, but secondhand crib or like nursery things, I actually think is a good idea, like the nightstand or the change table, because that way it's already off-gassed.
Yeah.
If you want the new pretty thing, get it 6 months before baby's born, not 6 weeks before, and then you can let those windows be open in your nursery and let everything off-gas so it's not off-gassing into your baby.
Yeah, such a good idea. And buying sort of like vintage pieces, maybe. We're currently redoing my house and a bunch of new furniture just arrived, and now I'm having anxiety. And they just painted the walls and it smells weird. And now I'm like, oh my God, I only have one Jaspr, so I sort of need to rotate it.
You need more Jaspers.
I need more Jaspers.
You need,
I know a guy.
We'll get you figured out. So yeah, when it comes to baby's nursery, clean air for baby is essential. And like I said, if you Google air quality and whether it's fertility, pregnancy, new baby stuff, anything, there's what I love about being in the airspace, there's nothing controversial about clean air.
That's true.
I actually don't think the road, I don't think this is like, I heard your episode with Callie Means, and I don't think this is like the air people are out to get you situation. I don't think there's like an air mob and big air pharma is getting you. I actually think the road to hell here is paved with good intentions, which makes me optimistic because it's a good problem.
Yeah.
But our own awareness, we can solve this problem very easily. And I'll say I actually think this is a much harder problem to solve than the food problem because it's actually a housing problem. The way our homes are built are not built for humans. The architects, the builders, the developers, when they're building subdivisions, they're never sitting around a table saying, how do we build the most healthiest homes for people? They're saying, how do we build them fast? How do we build them cheap? So our homes are literally cancer boxes. And with some air awareness, the Jaspr is a really good Band-Aid solution. Opening your windows is great. Being conscious about your furniture choices, letting things off gas. So it's cooling off here in Austin, getting those windows open, getting some more Jaspers. If someone is buying new furniture, if it can sit in the garage with the garage open for a few days and let it breathe, that's a good thing. So letting your home breathe. But I've been obsessing over this term called zoochosis lately. You know this term?
No.
Zoochosis is what happens to animals in captivity.
Oh, yeah.
So get this. So elephants in captivity live for 17 years, where it's 55 years in the wild.
Wow.
Dolphins swim 100 miles a day in the wild and no miles in captivity. So if you start looking, whether it's monkeys or pretty much any animal in captivity, when you start to read about what's happening to them, it's called, zoochosis is the overall symptom of this, or the study of it and what's happening to animals. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Anxiety, depression, joint pain, arthritis, obesity, mental health disorders, banging heads against walls. You're like, whoa, this sounds awfully similar. So I can't unsee it now, but I see subdivisions as zoos and our homes as cages.
Oh my God.
I feel like us humans are kind of like we just put ourselves in the zoo unconsciously.
I feel like we all have zoochosis.
I think we all have zoochosis.
Wow.
And we like, we need to get in the nature. We need to go for a walk. I'm like, you just let the elephant out of the cage for a walk. No wonder it was happy.
Yeah.
So I think, so I'm working on a book. Same thing on the back of my shirt. It's called You Are What You Breathe. But
I love that.
I think I'm really going to bring in the animal analogies here because
I'm sure that got so much worse in COVID too.
And exactly.
Yeah.
So there's of course the air stuff and the viruses and the spreading, but it's no wonder we're unhappy in homes. If we just look at what's happening to any animal in captivity in a cage for all of its time, we're almost like inmates by design. If we spend 95% of our time indoors, so do people in prisons.
Yeah.
They get an hour outside a day. It's actually more time outside than most people with freedom. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
Yeah, that is a wild way to think about life.
And then you look at your home and it's manufactured drywall, it's paint, it's carpets, it's adhesives. So, and then think about the layout of the average home. You have bedrooms for sleeping, and then you typically have a kitchen for cooking, and then there's a living room. How much living are you really doing it? The average configuration of a living room in a home is 2 or 3 couches facing a wall with a TV on it. So not only are we on our phones, but literally the living room of our home is constructed in a way where we just face a screen together. Family time, awesome. So I'm actually working on buying, so I told you, I could have walked here. I live 2 minutes from here.
Wild.
My neighborhood's called Cuernavaca. I'm working on buying 21 acres right now and building 7 homes on it. And they're going to be Jaspr homes with air, water, lighting, and every home's human-centric design. So none of the living rooms, it's going to be more courtyard-style homes, much more outdoor, based, all outdoor kitchens in every room's huge screened in porches. And the way me and my Rachel have designed homes in the past, the first thing is, how do we want to spend time with our kids, and how do we want to spend time, and how do we want to breathe good air, and then we go from there. And what materials do we want to use? And I have a hypothesis. My whole light at the end of the tunnel, my big entrepreneurial journey, is not just Jasper's. This is step one to get the influence and the resources we need. But ultimately, it's showing developers a much better way to build homes.
Yeah.
And right now, it breaks my heart when you're like, there's a housing shortage in America. We need 5 million units in the next. I'm like, units? You're calling the thing that people live in units. So of course we're not building them well. But it doesn't take, and when you're building a subdivision, you have the economies of scale. So and then, we cut all the trees off a lot, and then we build the house out of wood, and we build decks for shade when there was trees there in the first place. So, it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more thoughtfulness up front to build a good community and a good home. But you can put these things called ERVs in your homes that are basically like the lungs of your home. They let your home breathe very effectively. You can use a lot better materials that don't have to off-gas into your home. You can have a 90-day off-gassing or a 30-day off-gassing period before the house. So all the developers that built cookie-cutter homes, those prices are crashing in value right now. They all built them during COVID with low interest rates, and now they're all stuck with homes. But guess who's not dying? People who built healthy homes. Wow. There's no shortage of people who want to live in better, healthier homes. Yeah. So I really, the thing I'm most passionate about is, Jaspr is a great solution right now. It'll take your Zoochosis house that has really bad air and at least make your air. The one problem we can solve right now is breathing better air inside for under a few $1,000s. We can't right now snap our fingers and fix the layout and the design and the materials. That's why I don't do Facebook ads and Google ads and TikToks. I like podcasts. I like where we have some time to lay it out and kind of just share a vision of a better world where we're building more human-centric homes. And that's the path we're going on.
Such a cool mission behind it. I'm curious with the housing. Do you think it's an America-specific problem? Because I know, no. When I go back to the UK, like the house I grew up in the UK was entirely brick. Like they're all really old and built very differently. Is that better than the new build stuff here in the US or no?
So I don't think it's like Canada's the same.
Yeah.
It is. So until 60 years ago, if you think about anyone's grandparents, they're like, my granddaddy built his own. You would get a piece of land and you and your family would build it. Yeah. You'd get some help and you'd build a house. Everybody would build their own home. That's why when you look at old homes, they're all different. Yeah. It's a manufactured housing problem. So is it worse in the US? I would say yes, it's different problems everywhere. Yeah. I would prefer it over like a favela house. Those can be moldy too and not great either. But yeah, it's a manufactured housing problem. So most people are living in a condo, an apartment, or a subdivision home. And even a lot of custom homes aren't built very good. So it's worse in America and it's worse in Canada. But also it's a blessing and a curse. America is still the most desirable country in the world to live in. It's still the place that people want to move to. So because of the shortage of homes, we get these developers building 10,000 homes at a time. Yeah. And because of the scale of the homes that are required, they're not really thinking about materials and design and all of that. So I think the problem is exacerbated here by the scale. Gone are the days where we build our own homes. And I think that there should be a middle ground between a custom home and a manufactured subdivision home where they're all the same. And like, I'm depressed walking in a subdivision. There's no trees. Totally. It kind of feels prison-y.
They're all the same. I've always thought that these communities where every house looks the same, it's really eerie.
I love my community here. I really think it has a potential to be a vision for what the world could look like. It's called Cuernavaca. It's literally across the street. I don't know if you've checked it out before.
I don't want people to show up at your house.
I'll take you for a little golf cart tour in the neighborhood. Yeah. But like, it's everything from, so it was all old trailer homes with big oak trees. Okay. And then one at a time, people would like buy up a lot and build a new home. So every house is entirely different. There's a lot of trees.
Love the oak trees.
Some of the developers have come and clear cut and built singular custom homes that are horrible, but not too many. Yeah. But I'm working now. I'm trying to build a team of local builders and architects and landscapers. So I'm a big proponent of make your front yard your backyard. So if you put your swing set and your pizza oven and everything in the backyard, it's like you're taking your family and like, sheltering them.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few areas in the neighborhood where they put their gardens in the front yard, the swing set, the pizza oven, and the fire pit. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, there's always people hanging out there.
Yeah.
Because when there's kids. So I think in a community, let's start making our front yards our backyards where we actually play on our front yard. You can have a little picket fence so the dog can roam free and your kid won't run onto the road and all of that. But it's still, but by doing that, I think little moves, community-centric things, put a swing chair off the tree. Instead of cutting it down and building a pergola, you already got the shade off that tree, like build a tree house. My area has the most tree houses.
Really?
So it's like this little, and we have a lake too. So it's like this amazing little area where there's homes from like the 50s till current, very different, very eclectic. But I think, that finding that middle zone between a manufactured house, but long answer for yes, I think it's worse here, but I think it's really a manufactured housing problem at large. Like when they're building a condo, selling them pre-construction, it's like they've already sold it before they built it. So the motivation to use good materials and good airflow and stuff isn't really there. So I think it needs to be top down and bottom up. I think us as people and homeowners and leaders of our households need to be unwilling to purchase a subdivision house.
Yeah.
And then builders will start to build better homes. If it's worth it for them, they'll build them.
Yeah.
So I think it's like just got to talk about it more.
I love the front yard concept. I think that would be really cool. I need to do that more.
We're doing it.
We're talking to our neighbors, being friendly. Mike, thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. And I think people are going to love that information. I think air quality is something we need to be talking about more. I know you guys have a really exciting Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale.
Yeah, so I'll tee it up.
Tee it up.
Thanks. So a couple things, and just like in 60 seconds, I'll tell you why Jaspr is different.
Yep.
So instead of plastic, we use cold rolled steel. So it's a commercial product in nature. We have very adaptive sensors. So as soon as you're cooking, cleaning, incense, candles, anything, it will respond in real time. But it also shows you the air quality on the screen in real time. So it actually works as a tool to increase your air awareness. So you'll start to see like if you switch to Branch Basics from Lysol or Clorox or Method will make Jaspr go crazy. The low tox products won't. So it starts to act as an educational tool.
Yeah.
The other big difference is the airflow. So one Jaspr is equivalent to about 5 Dysons. So you can have it completely silent in your bedroom, or you can have it as a white noise machine. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no Bluetooth, which means there's no EMF, which is another big deal. And as you've seen, they're beautiful. We made them to look beautiful in the home and they can go against the corner. They can go against the wall. We have a lifetime warranty, which is something I'm very proud of. So our warranty is badass. So let's say your Jaspr breaks. We literally ship you a new Jaspr the next day. You don't have to send us no pre-authorized credit card. Don't ship us the old one first. So we ship you a brand new one. You take the new one out of the box. You put your old one in the box. In there, you'll already have a prepaid shipping label from UPS, and we pay for UPS to come to your front porch the next day at 9 a.m. and pick it up.
Wow.
I hate when I buy a product with the warranty and they're like, do you have the original packaging? Do you have the receipt? Can you get a box the shape of your vacuum and go to FedEx? I'm like, you want me to spend half a day? Then you just buy a new one.
Yeah.
So the lifespan of Jaspr is about 30 years, which is why we're able to offer the lifetime warranty. If it breaks, why should the customer pay $1 for shipping or leave their house or anything? So we made the company design that the way we wanted it to. And if anybody has questions about their own personal situation, mold or toxins or whatever, we don't have a sales or a customer service department. We only have an air quality education department. So the only people at our company you'll talk to are either healthy home experts or nurses.
Wow.
I'm really passionate about nurses being able to make money from home, and they're so good.
Yeah.
So basically the way it works is Jaspr used to be $19.75. It was a $2,000 product when we sold to doctors and dentists. Last year, we got it down to $13.99, and now it's down to $11.99. So this podcast comes out October 28th.
Yep.
So we're going to have a $400 off discount code. And the reason we can afford to do that is because we're not on Amazon. We're not on Walmart, Best Buy, none of that. If we were, we wouldn't be able to offer this amazing warranty and support, which is just as important as the product is how you support the product.
Yep.
So what we have is a like basically a 40% off discount code. Also on our website, if people buy 2, 3, or 4, we give them bulk discounts. So your code will actually combine with ours.
So code POW, P-O-W, will give them the biggest discount.
The biggest discount anywhere. We'll have no discount on our website. Don't wait for Black Friday because first of all, this discount, it will be bigger than any Black Friday offer we're going to have. Second of all, we'll be sold out by Black Friday for sure.
Yep.
So our website is jaspr.co, jaspr.co, no E, and code POW for Pursuit of Wellness. And it'll be about 40% off. And it would only be for 1 week.
Yeah.
So it'll be from October 28th till November 5th.
Okay.
And then after that week, we're still going to leave the code up forever.
Okay.
For anyone who this is not the right week, totally cool. It'll be 10% off for eternity.
Okay.
But for this first week, it'll be 40% off, code POW. And I hope for some people out there who learned something about air today, who want the most beautiful, powerful air purifier. If not, you know, there's some big, ugly, loud machines that are still effective, but to whoever this speaks to out there, this is your message.
Guys, it's amazing. I have it in my house. I don't even really notice it. It just like fits with the environment. It's sleek, it's beautiful, it does its job. I'm going to be using this code myself because this is an amazing discount. Don't miss out. It's 1 week. And I feel like after this episode, it's going to blow up. So go get one while you can. I'm going to get multiple because now I want one in my kitchen. I want one with the pets room, everything. What are you looking at?
I'm thinking we need one right there where that little stool is.
Oh, 100%. Like it would look better than that stool. Okay. So I'm going to need one for this studio as well because I don't want my guests being affected by toxic air.
And you don't want to be breathing what they are.
No.
The average person in a massage room, 10 by 10 room, by the end of the massage, you've essentially made out with that therapist.
Ew.
Yeah, because think about it. You're sharing the air. So by you having a Jaspr in there, it's you caring about the air that you share.
Yeah, I do care. I care deeply. I'm going to fix that, I swear.
Thanks for having me and helping spread the message.
Thank you. One more question for you.
Sure.
And I ask every guest, and my audience gets annoyed with me when I don't ask.
Okay.
What does wellness mean to you?
To me, wellness, I take a more... little bit of a less intense approach to it. I've gone down the path and I've seen a lot of people go down the path of like, if I'm not sauning, cold plunging 3 times a day, taking 42 supplements, then I find that it's an endless treadmill of stress.
Yep.
So to me, and I love the quote, Jaspr is the laziest way to be healthy. Because it's just one of those things that you don't have to go to the gym or eat the thing you don't want to eat. It's a bit of an investment. But to me, wellness is a low stress way of living, which both means clean air, clean water, clean food, and clean thoughts. So I like to have if I go to bed at night feeling happy about my day and calm and happy about what I've done in the world and excited about the next day, then that's me living a life of wellness.
I love that answer. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wellness podcast. To support this show, please rate and review and share with your loved ones. If you want to be reminded of new episodes, click the subscribe button on your preferred podcast or video player. You can sign up for my newsletter to receive my favorites at marilewellen.com. It will be linked in the show notes. This is a Wellness Loud production produced by Drake Peterson, Fiona Attix, and Kelly Kyle. This show is edited by Mike Fry, and our video is recorded by Luis Vargas. You can also watch the full video of each episode on our YouTube channel at Mari Fitness. Love you, Pow Girls and Pow Boys. See you next time. The content of this show is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for individual medical and mental health advice and does not constitute a provider-patient relationship. As always, talk to your doctor or health team.